I decided to watch the 1999 Noah's Ark for Carol Kane. And this was initially a TV miniseries, and honestly, it's not great. It does have 3.7 out of 10 on IMDb across 2.3 thousand reviews and ratings. I don't know if I agree with that. I'd say maybe more of a 4, 4.5. It's not terrible. There's not much that's necessarily badly done, but it's not engaging. The narrative is very slow. Visually, it's not that good to look at. The performances are fine. I don't think it's that great, though. This was released in 1999. It's directed by John Irvin, written by Peter Barnes, with the cast including Jon Voight, Mary Steenburgen, of course we have Carol Kane, and it is the story of Noah's Ark. We are told at the beginning, with text on screen, that they have taken poetic license with some events, and I wasn't really that bothered about that, as long as it was generally the overarching concept, which absolutely it is, the concept of Noah and his family building an ark. As long as it kind of stuck to that basic concept, which it did, I was happy enough. But obviously that is worth bearing in mind, that if you're looking for a very biblically accurate story, that's just something to consider. But for me, it delivered enough in terms of the specifics of the narrative, and it does look convincing. The costumes look fine. The locations are pretty good. The performances are very strong. That's the one thing that for me really stood out. I thought the performances across the board were really, really well done. But the story itself, in terms of the pacing, is so slow. It is tremendously slow. The whole thing is about 3 hours, as I said. It was originally, I believe, a 2-part miniseries, and this had no business being that long. It is just so slow. There are such long periods of time when really nothing happens. There are a few moments here and there that are more dramatic or more engaging, but the fluff around those scenes is just so tedious to sit through that I really was very bored for a lot of this. Yes, I enjoyed the performances. I don't like the colours. It looks very bland. It's not that nice to look at. Yes, the costumes, in terms of the designs of them, they look believable for the time period. I have no idea if they are time accurate, but from my perspective, they look fine. And the colours look believable. They look realistic, but it's not that engaging. And if that was the only issue, that would be fine. And the same with the set designs. They're convincing. They look good in a believable sense, but they're not that engaging. Some of them, yes, some aspects are okay. But if all of these things were the only problem with the film or the series, I could deal with that. But because there are so many elements that are just boring and bland and not nice to look at, it just means that it wasn't a very good experience. Would it have been better if it were shorter? Yes, in the sense that I wouldn't have had to sit through it all, but it still would be the same. The costumes would be fine, but the colour palette would be bland. The set designs would be believable, but not the most interesting to look at. The performances would still be very strong. The music was very nice. I liked the music. Some of the weather looked quite nice and atmospheric. I think they did a good job there. I think they should have been a third of the length. At the very least, half of the length. The 1999 Noah's Ark is not great. The length is one of the issues, but it's still not that engaging. Yes, it would be a bit more engaging if they shortened it and took out some of the fluff, and we had maybe slightly stronger dramatic scenes and more engaging moments, but unfortunately that's not the reality of what happened, and ultimately I don't think it's very good, and unless there's a specific reason why you want to watch it, I can't really recommend it.